Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ACO's February cooking workshop. February is heart health, and so we are cooking some heart healthy recipes. One is egg roll noodle bowl, and the other one is upside down pineapple carrot ginger cake. So I would like to welcome back our Winey Chef, Sharon, who is going to do the demonstration today. We tried the recipes last night, and they were delicious. So I'll hand it over to Sharon.
Hi, folks. Nice to see everyone again, and happy February. I hope everyone's doing well and keeping yourself strong and grounded. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to start a recipe that is going to be easy peasy to do and very impressive. Not only is it healthy. So what we will start with is an 8x8 pan. What I've already greased the inside with baking spray. And the first thing that I'm going to do is take 2 tablespoons of butter. I've left them in the pan because it saves on dishes. I'm going to melt that butter just enough so that it is melted. And then I am going to take the 3 tablespoons of brown sugar and sprinkle it on the bottom. So as I turn around, I hate to turn my bottom to you, but it's the way it is. I'm going to put this in just to liquefy, which is probably about 20 seconds. I'm then going to take my 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Whether it's dark brown or light brown, it still equates to sugar. It still has the calories. But the darker the sugar, the more molasses and the tastier the sugar is. So I would strongly suggest the brown sugar as opposed to a white sugar. And it also gives a nicer glaze to the pineapple. So hopefully... yeah, that's good enough. So here is my melted butter, the 2 tablespoons. And now I'm going to take my 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I'm going to sprinkle it in. It's been out for a bit, so it's getting harder. There we go. And the next ingredient I'm going to put down will be pineapple. Who knew that pineapple would be as nutritious as well as very attractive, especially in a cocktail? So we'll have Diane explain to you as I'm just sprinkling this around, basically to cover the bottom, like this. And I will take 4 rings of pineapple. This is from the can because we're not in Hawaii or Costa Rica, so we're using canned pineapple. And I'm taking 4 slices, and I am going to be laying it down. And at this point, we're going to cut to Diane, and she's going to tell us what a wonderful thing these pineapples are.
Yes, so one of the nutritious ingredients in this pineapple upside down ginger carrot cake is pineapple. And pineapple provides more than 100% of your recommended daily amount of vitamin C. And while you're probably well aware that this nutrient helps support immunity, it does so much more. Vitamin C is involved in the growth and repair of tissues throughout the whole body. Plus, it acts as an antioxidant, protecting cells against premature aging, yes, and illnesses such as cancer and heart disease. So back to you, Sharon.
By the way, you need to turn on your oven, which is what is humming in the background here. Your oven is set at 350, and by the time your oven has heated up, you will be ready to put this in because it's a very easy assemblance of ingredients. The next thing I'm going to do, now I like a lot of taste, so I'm going to put in more than the required recipe of 1 tablespoon of crystallized ginger. Now, when you buy it in the grocery store in a bag, it will probably look like this. So what has to be done, it has to be cut very finely, which is what I've done here, and I'm sprinkling over the pineapple the ginger. Now, like I said, I'm putting in more than the tablespoon because I like strong tasting foods. And did you want to talk about the benefits of ginger, or do you want to? Okay,
I can start because there's quite a few. Ginger is the ingredient in this dessert, but it's also the ingredient in the main dish, which is the egg roll noodle bowl. So, and there's a lot of nutrients and benefits to ginger. So I'll just say a few of them. It's loaded again with nutrients and bioactive compounds that have powerful benefits for your body and your brain. And if you remember, what's good for your heart is also good for your brain. It's high in gingerol, a substance with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, which is known to be effective at reducing symptoms of osteoarthritis, especially osteoarthritis of the knee. It's also anti-nausea, including chemotherapy-related nausea, nausea after surgery, and morning sickness. And the last one, before we move on to Sharon, it has been shown to lower blood sugar levels and improve various heart disease risk factors in people with type 2 diabetes.
Well, I'm not sure that anyone would be delighted to hear that you have morning sickness, but you never know. So my next stage of the recipe, so here I have the ginger that is now on top of the pineapple. And now I'm going to go to my dry ingredients. So I have already pre-measured the cup of flour, and this is my highly technologically advanced sifter. I put in my 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I've put in less because I don't think you need more than half a cup, but that's up to you. So in will go the sugar with the flour, and then I have this beautiful little concoction, and it is the baking soda, the baking powder, and apple spice. What is apple spice, you say? We did not know. But when you think about an apple pie or even a pumpkin pie, you think about the natural spices of nutmeg, cinnamon, clove, allspice, and cardamom. And I believe that the recipe that you will have those 5 ingredients in a little box. What I've done is I've made a little container of it, which I will keep for further use. But these are the dry spices and the baking powder, salt, and baking soda. I've put that in as well. So these are my dry ingredients. A highly technological instrument here, and I'm going to put it through, which will mix the dry ingredients. So now I have the flour, the sugar, the spices, all in my bowl. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of the canola oil, 1/4 of a cup of skim milk because it's more heart friendly and there's less fat, and also a cup of carrots. Now we're going to talk about why we love carrots so much.
So carrots, again, are part of both recipes which we're doing today. And carrots are a powerful antioxidant because of their bright color, and that is the beta carotene. Carrots are very high in beta carotene. They also have something called alpha carotene, another powerful antioxidant, and they have lutein, which is good for your eye health. Another ingredient in carrots is lycopene, and I think you've heard about lycopene. It's found in tomatoes also, and it can decrease your risk of cancer and heart disease. And one more, anthocyanins, and these are again powerful antioxidants found in dark colored carrots. So back to Sharon.
So here we go. I'm taking my third of a cup of canola oil and I'm adding it to the dry ingredients, just like that. I'm then taking my quarter of a cup of milk, and I just want to show you the container because apparently it's available at Maxi.
Yeah.
And there it is. Okay, and it has low fat but very high protein. So if you're not a milk drinker or a lover of milk, you will still get some more proteins than you would normally in milk that you add to your coffee or your tea or on your cereal. So here I've got my oil, my milk, and my carrots. My cup of carrots. And I'm going to mix that all together. It's interesting because there's not too much liquid. So you might think that you've done something wrong, but you haven't. Because the next stage, the final stage, will be to take 3 egg whites. Again, you're not using yolks, so it's reducing the cholesterol, it's reducing the fat. What I've done, because I didn't want to victimize you and have you listening to my my mixer, I have taken the 3 egg whites and I have whipped them already until the peaks are stiff. Well, we had a little joke about that last night, but I don't think we're going to share it because it's a family show. So I'm going to take the egg whites and I'm going to put them in. 3 egg whites. Thank you, chickens. And I will just mix it until it is mixed. I'm not going to beat it. I'm not going to mash it. I'm just going to mix it because I want to keep the air in the egg whites because that's going to serve to bring the batter to a lighter texture. So I'm almost there with it. And then what I'm going to do is pour it on top. And that's the end of this very, very simple recipe. See, it's almost, you can still see the egg white, but it is blending very nicely with the carrots and the other ingredients. So there we are. And now I'm just going to put it on top. Nice and fluffy. Look. I'm going to even it out, and then I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. And I'm going to see what happens after the 30 minutes. Depending on your oven, if you have a hot oven, which I do because it's propane, it's going to take less time. If you have an electric oven, it's going to take more time because the heat is not as intense. So there we go. When it's done after 35 minutes, we're going to flip it and decorate it a little bit with powdered sugar. Again, that's optional. And there we go. So in it goes. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And in it goes. And I will set the timer for 30 minutes. And then I'm going to clean up a little bit, and we're going to start the egg roll in a bowl in about 5 minutes.
Hi everyone, we're back. So while the upside down ginger pineapple carrot cake is cooking, it's a mouthful. I'm sorry, I have to look at my paper. Sharon's going to start with the egg roll noodle bowl. And what's fun about this is because most of us love egg rolls, but they do have to be fried. There's that. So you have all the healthy ingredients in a simple recipe that you can do over the stove. So I will hand it over to Sharon, and she will tell you how it goes.
Okay. Hi, I'm back. The way we start this recipe is by soaking the noodles. Now, that could be a little tricky because they're not the ordinary pasta noodles that we are familiar with. So apparently in the fish store in Rawdon, or most stores have a gourmet section, and you can buy the rice noodles. They have to be rice noodles though. So one type is this one, which is the one I'm going to use. They're thicker, okay, which means they have to cook longer. The other type, they're also rice noodles, but you can see that they're much finer. So obviously they're going to take less time. So these would be thrown in at the very, very end, otherwise they'll be mushy. So either one works. Either one works. But I believe this was bought in Rawdon.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have to do with the noodles is we have to put some boiling water on them and just let them sit so that they'll be al dente, which is what you want. So I'm going to take my boiling water and I'm just going to put them on my noodles, and they'll just sit there for a bit. If it happens that you forget to do this step first, it's not the end of the world, because this can always sit while you soak your noodles before adding them. So if you forget, it's not really that serious, okay? So what we start with is, the recipe says pork. I thought it was a much better idea to use chicken or turkey or a leaner meat, and it is shredded or ground up. And basically all you do is you will fry this in a very little amount of oil. So I've already fried it. At this point, we're going to add garlic. And like I said before, I like a strong tasting food. So even though it says 1 clove of garlic, I put 3 in because there are very nutritional properties to garlic as well. So I use my trusty micro blade, which is the most wonderful thing that you ever could dream of having, because it grinds everything up without all the muss and stress. I'm going to use that for my garlic, which I'm putting in. Like I said, I'm putting in 3 times as much, but that's my taste. The ginger, if you want to do honor to ginger, get the fresh ginger, and most places have it. It will look like this. This is the ginger root itself. It's not complicated at all. You just peel it like you would a potato. And what you have inside is the beautiful ginger root. Again, I'm putting in more. I think they were calling for powdered ginger. I would suggest using fresh ginger because it has a much purer taste and a much richer taste. So I'm going to take my ginger. You can measure if you want. I don't, because I like it a lot. So I'm going to just put that into my meat mixture. And again, it's up to you. If you're not really a ginger lover, putting in some ginger is good just for the nutritional value in it. If you really like ginger, go for it, because it only gets better with the more you put in. So there's my ginger. And now I'm heating up those ingredients. While it's heating up, and actually while you're cooking your meat, you could be doing probably the most time-consuming thing, which is shredding your cabbage. This is shredded cabbage. This is 6 cups of cabbage. It takes a while. You could use any sort of a grater. I used a manual grater, and it takes quite a while, but it's kind of meditative. And you also are shredding 2 cups of carrots. So if you have a sous chef, you have them do the shredding, because it does take time. So what we will do now is find out about this wonderful vegetable and how good it is for you, not to mention also your pocketbook.
Yeah, cabbage is an exceptionally healthy food with a lot of nutrients in it, especially high in vitamins C and K. So vitamin K, it has 85% of the recommended dietary intake, and that is critical for blood clotting. And vitamin C, it's a potent antioxidant. And vitamin C, the amount in this recipe is 54% of your recommended dietary intake. So what does vitamin C do? It protects against heart disease, among other things, against cancer and vision loss. It's needed to make collagen, which gives structure and flexibility to our skin and is critical for the proper functioning of bones, muscles, and blood vessels. So I'm going to let Sharon take over, and we'll come back with more benefits of cabbage, because there are so many.
Okay, so as I've put in my chicken or turkey, you could also put in shrimp, we discovered, but you wouldn't want to cook the shrimp too much. I would throw in the shrimp at the very end. So here's my meat mixture. I put in my ginger. I've put in my garlic. I'm now going to put in this wonderful spice that we don't usually use that often because we're not familiar with it. It's a spice that is usually used in the eastern parts of the world, Lebanon, Greece, a lot of Arabic foods, a lot of Greek foods, and it is turmeric. And turmeric is that spice that looks like a very deep mustard color. And I believe it says to use 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm putting in half, and I might even put more. But if you're not familiar with turmeric, I would start slow, just to see if it's something that you really enjoy. The next thing I'm going to put in at the moment is soy sauce. Now, I believe what it says again is it says 1 tablespoon. I'm going to do more than 1 tablespoon because of the amount of meat mixture I have. I'm going to put in 2. I may even end up putting in 3. That's up to you. There is soy sauce that you can get that is low salt, low sodium, so that if blood pressure was an issue for you, you could get the low sodium soy sauce. So
it's amazing the nutrient benefits that turmeric has. It's also known for its most active compound, which is curcumin, if you've heard of that. And there are many scientifically proven health benefits of curcumin, such as its potential to prevent heart disease, Alzheimer's, and cancer. It has potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that can also help improve symptoms of depression and arthritis. So there's a lot of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties in the recipes that we're doing. I'll also share this with you, and it's got to do with brain health. As I said before, what's good for your heart is good for your brain. Curcumin boosts levels of the brain hormone BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And it increases the growth of new neurons and fights various degenerative processes in the brain. So as we get older, sometimes we're concerned about the health of our brain and the loss sometimes of memory. And firing those neurons and keeping them healthy is really important to stave off dementia and diseases like Alzheimer's. So here we go, turmeric. If you'd like to include it in more of your recipes, I'll go over to Sharon.
Hello. I feel like the Cabbage Patch doll with the wrinkles, the cabbage. I'm there with it. So I'm putting in my 6 cups of cabbage. I'm on 4. And now I'm going to put the last 2. So I have my 6 cups. By the way, I think this also makes a great leftover. So you can make a big batch and either share it or save it for another meal and serve it over rice or something different. So there's my 6 cups of cabbage. And here are my 2 cups of carrots. Now this is where being an experienced cook allows for creativity, or just maybe knowing that the recipe could be improved. There's not much liquid in here other than the soy sauce, which was not a lot to start with. So this is really the recipe as it is on your paper. However, what I'm going to do, because I don't want it to be dry, is I have found the Campbell soup, but it's a mushroom broth. And I got this at the Maxi. So I'm going to add a little bit of liquid because it's going to evaporate anyways, and it will give it a more moist, just a little la. That's it. And I'm just going to let that cook. It's probably going to be about 8 or 9 minutes. And believe it or not, that's it. That will be the recipe. So I will come back to you in 8 or 9 minutes and show you what the end result is, unless you want to show it in the bowl, or you want to go on with that. Okay, go ahead. Go on.
Well, we're not finished with the cabbage yet.
Okay, so much to say.
Who knew cabbage was so nutritious? I'm not a big cabbage eater myself, except in a cabbage roll or what else, Sharon?
Cabbage soup.
Cabbage soup, okay. But yeah, so I think I'm going to start eating a little bit more of it.
Coleslaw.
Coleslaw, yeah. So it's part of the brassica family of vegetables, which includes broccoli, cauliflower, and kale, which we know is also very good for us. Eating cabbage may even help lower the risk of certain diseases, improve digestion, and combat inflammation. So I had no idea that it had, well, no, it does have fiber. It's got 2 grams of fiber, which improves your digestion. And it has potassium, which potassium is really, really important for heart health. It helps keep blood pressure within a healthy range. It also has, sorry, go ahead.
Circulation as well. Potassium, yeah, anti-cramping in the legs.
Vitamin C, we spoke about that when we spoke about our pineapple for the dessert, but here we go. Cabbage also has high 54% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin C. And magnesium, another very important nutrient, which is high in antioxidants and something called polyphenols. As you know, antioxidants, or maybe you don't know, it protects the body from damage caused by free radicals. Free radicals is like the rust in a car. If as a car gets older, it's susceptible to rust. And as we age, unfortunately, we need to eat foods high in antioxidants.
So we don't get rusty.
That's right. What else can we say? I think that's about it.
Okay.
Back to Sharon.
Oh, you caught me. I'm so just one moment, because it's so dry. Wait. Much better. So I'm going to, what I did is I drained the noodles. They're softer already. And I'm going to add them at the very last minute so you don't end up with mush. I've also covered the raw ingredients because I think that the steam is going to help cook it better than a lot of the nutrients going into the air because of steam. So it's better that we lock in the nutrients by keeping it covered. Now, when this is done, which is the taste test, almost done. I will just turn this around. And again, the less you cook your fresh vegetables, the more nutrition there'll be in it. So you can cook it until the cows come home, but that's probably not a good idea. So it's still a little bit al dente, which is fine. I will give it another few minutes. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to assume that this is 5 minutes later. Time passes very quickly. I'm now going to put in the noodles. Oh, and it's 4 ounces of noodles. How do I know what 4 ounces are? I don't really. I just said, well, if the bag is 8 ounces, half of the bag, that's 4 ounces, good enough. Because they're all good ingredients anyways. If you have a little bit more of one or the other, it's really not going to change anything because it's all going to be delicious. So now I'm going to give this a swirl. And did you have something else to say before I serve? Diane?
There was a few other things we forgot to say about ginger.
Go ahead.
Okay. It speeds up the emptying of your stomach, so it's really beneficial for people who suffer from indigestion. Who knew? And it protects against age-related damage to the brain and improves brain function. So, also it reduces the bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, and improves blood triglyceride levels. So that is a lot of nutrients and a lot of things that are good for you, and it tastes delicious, as Sharon and I proclaimed last night.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have 2 minutes left. Now you see how you could make a complete meal here. You could start your dessert. It's very easy, and while that dessert is getting ready, you can do this, and voila, you become a master chef. It's just so impressive. So I'm going to take out my cake, or I'm going to check it first. Now, I would say that needs more time. And my indicator would be the sides of the cake itself. The batter should come away from the edges of the pan a little bit. Keep in mind, because there's carrots in here, it makes the batter more moist. So I'm going to give it maybe another 8 or 9 minutes. In the meantime, now my wonderful pad thai, or egg roll minus the roll, is ready. Okay, and what will happen next, I'm just going to leave that one, but I want to show you what the end result is. This is what your egg roll in a bowl will look like. But now we put the cherry on the sundae, or the topping on our mixture. Now, there are toppings like ground peanuts. You can use peanuts that are roasted or dried. They have less salt, less oil, so you can sprinkle some of that on the top. You can then use, now, again, if you like spicy, these are crushed chilies from Cambodia. And I'm going to put a few on and decide whether it's too hot, or maybe I'm not going to use it at all. And the final thing, again, if you enjoy raw shallots, is you cut the shallots into small portions like this, and you sprinkle that on the top. Et voila. Bon appetit. Delicious. That was scrumptious. This is a no-fail recipe. It'll be wonderful. You will be the queen, king of your kitchen forever. Having said that, before you turn yourself upside down, you know what I mean, I'm going to take the cake that has been cooling for 5 minutes. I'm going to take my plate now, and I'm going to flip it. And voila! Your beautiful pineapple vitamin cake, because that's what it is. It's like eating a vitamin, so don't feel guilty if you have a second piece. It's just good for your soul. And having said that, we are here to wish you a happy, healthy heart. Stay safe. Take care.